If you're struggling with your confidence at the plate, it's probably not your swing, it's your self-image, and no one is teaching this. I want to show you the exact method I use with my players to build unshakable confidence even when they're in a slump. Take Braden, for example. He used to be quiet in the box, solid hitter, but something was missing. Then I taught him this, and now even the umpire is noticing him. His dad texted me, said he was okay before, but now he owns the box. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the B.E.A.R method, my personal framework that transforms how players think, feel, and perform at the plate. And once you apply it, you just won't swing differently. You'll show up differently too. Let's get started. Well, let me introduce you to the B.E.A.R method, because as a younger player, what I would do is I would tie my confidence to results. And when you tie your confidence to results, what happens is when you're doing well, you're on a high. And when you're doing not so well, you're on a low. It's like this emotional roller coaster. And we don't want to play like that, because the higher you go up, the harder the competition becomes, right? The players become much better. When you're playing in varsity level, it's going to be tougher. When you're playing D1 or in college, when you play professional baseball, when you're playing the major leagues, which I hope all you guys get to play all these levels, is going to become much more difficult. So if you're tying your confidence to results, it's going to be very, very hard to perform at a high level consistently, because if you're high and doing well, you're the best. But when you're not doing well, then you're not the best, and we don't want to play like that. We want to be even kill the whole time. So this is why I created the B.E.A.R method, and it helped me as a player, and it's helping tons of players across the country from ages 6 all the way up to the major leagues, and I hope it'll help you too. So the first step in that is belief. Now, how do we create belief? Well, we do that by saying I am statements, okay? So I am a power hitter. I am a consistent hitter. I am an RBI machine. I am a line drive machine, right? So we're saying this to ourselves. But when we say it, what we want to do is we want to say it like we mean it. Okay, and this is the big key right here. When I tell this to players, especially young players, I say, all right, tell me I am statement. And they say, I am a power hitter. And that does nothing for you, right? It doesn't do anything at all, because you don't change your state. But when you say it like you mean it, you change your state. For example, if I said, I am a power hitter, you see how my body is starting to change, right? I'm starting to spark emotion. And that right there is the second step. Okay. So now we're saying it like we're meaning it, and we are sparking emotion. And when we spark emotion, what that does is that gets us to take action, right? We start to act like that person that we're saying we are. Right? We start becoming that person. If you say you're a line drive machine and you start to say it like you mean it, you start to act in that way. You start to become that person. And what that does is now you start to get results. And when you do hit line drives, you further that belief. So what happens now is you get this flywheel, right, of confidence, right, of success. And you basically just keep doing that over and over and over. And that right there is how you build unshakable confidence. But what happens, what most players do, is they get in a situation, and what they do is they strike out and they say, I suck. Or they can't hit an inside pitch, or they can't hit a home run because they're small. They can't hit doubles because they're whatever it is. They say all these things to themselves, and what that does is they say it out loud, and that starts to build that belief. And they say with emotion, and they act upon it. Anytime that they don't do what they said that they can't do, what happens is now they don't get those results. And that furthers that belief. So you have a group of players which I would say majority of all the players, doing this on a daily basis. They're telling themselves they can't hit. They can't hit a slider. They can't hit a changeup. They can't hit a curveball. They are in control of all of this, and they are telling themselves on a daily basis that they can't do it. That's why you're different, because you're not going to do that. You're going to stay over here on the positive side, because you're going to be the one that is having a different mindset. And that's the reason why you're going to get different results. What you think is what you'll get. They say this game is all mental. It is. It's all mental. So if you're thinking you suck when runners are in scoring position, or you can't hit guys in because you're, the pressure you're thinking about so much, what happens is you're just going to further that belief. And what happens is you become that person you're saying that you are. Remember, you are in control. So let's be in control of what we're saying to ourselves and what we're thinking. So with that being said, I want to give an example. Let's say the situation is bases loaded. You're up at the plate right now. It's a 2-2 count. Okay. And you step out, you take a deep breath, and you say, I am an RBI machine. I always drive runners in. This is what I do. I was born to hit guys in. I crush pitchers. The pressure is on him, not me, right? You're saying that to yourself, right? You're saying it like you mean it, because you know it's going to happen. It's going to come true. He throws you the pitch, you hammer it, line drive, you score 2 runners in. Now you got the result, okay? Now you're furthering that belief that you're an RBI machine, and it keeps going, right? Every time you get runners on, you hammer the baseball, right? You're furthering that belief over and over and over and over, right? Now, let me say something right now, because most people will say, well, Jermaine, what if you get out in that situation? And I'll tell you what most people do. It's bases loaded, okay? The count is 2-2. They're up at the plate right now, okay? They step out. They say to themselves, I am an RBI machine. I drive runners in when runners are in scoring position. This is what I do. The pitcher throws a slider or a pitch that they don't see that well. They swing over it and they strike out. When they walk back to the dugout, they say to themselves, I suck. I struggle with runners in scoring position. I can't hit. I can't drive people in. What they do is they start that belief, right? And what happens, they say it to themselves, they think it. What happens is that starts to build that emotion, right? And next time they come up and runners are scoring position, they get out again. That furthers it, right? And then they start getting those results. They start to believe, I can't hit people in when runners are scoring position. I can't hit when the pressure is on. They are limiting themselves. Okay. So what happens in that situation if that happened to you? In that situation, bases loaded, 2-2, throw a slider, okay, and you swing over it, or they throw you a fastball and you miss it, strike 3. Instead of saying I suck, when you're walking back to the dugout, you say to yourself, he got lucky. He got lucky. Next time he won't get me. This time he won, but he got lucky. Next at bat, I'm going to crush this guy. I want runners in scoring position. I want to be the guy up next to bat. And you say this to yourself out loud as you're walking back to the dugout, right? You hear yourself say it. Oh, he got lucky. Next at bat, I got him. You see how you flip the script? So you stay in this positive mindset as opposed to going over here on this negative side and furthering that belief. You're saying, he got lucky. That's not me. I'm the guy that drives runners in. I'm the REI machine. He just got lucky. That's not what I do. It just happened. But next at bat, I'm going to get him. I'm going to drive runners in. What happens next at bat? Runners in scoring position. You're up again. You hammer it. You drive guys in and you say, see, that's what I do. I drive guys in. This is the player I am. So if you're able to do this, if you're able to start applying this to your game and you really master this, you're going to separate yourself, because what most players are doing, it has nothing to do with talent. They are just weeding themselves out just the way they think. They are telling themselves they can't be successful on a daily basis. When they're playing baseball, they are telling themselves they can't hit an outside pitch, they can't hit a slider, they can't hit a curveball, they can't do this, that, whatever. They are weeding themselves out. But you're not like that. You're the exact opposite. You're saying you're in control. I'm a positive. I have a positive mindset. I'm a power hitter. I'm a consistent hitter. I drive runners in. I am in control of my destiny. I dominate pitchers, right? And anytime you have a strikeout, a ground out, double play, you just say, that's not me. Because what I do is I drive the baseball. I hit doubles. I'm a consistent hitter. And you let them weed themselves out because they're doing it on a daily basis, right? And this is how you master the mental game. And this is how you control your destiny as a player. This is how you have unshakable confidence. And this is how you separate yourself from everybody else. And the higher you go up, the harder it becomes. But if you can think like this right here and stay in control of every thought, and you master this, you are going to separate yourself. No doubt about it. And if you want help with this, this is what I'm doing with my players. I'm helping them master the mental game, because when you do, sky's the limit, right? Because like I said, players are already limiting themselves, and you don't want to be that player. So if you want to learn this faster, this is what I do in my program. With that being said, I want to thank you so much. If you would like to schedule a time with me or my team, go below and I'll put that information below and you can do it, and then we'll talk and we'll take your game to that next level. I appreciate you. I hope you like this. Hit that like button if you like this, and tell me what was your biggest takeaway. Thank you.